Hey y'all, it's Ricky T. I'm here at the Taylor Plantation on a beautiful fall afternoon. The sun is shining. It's actually just a little over that way right now. It just passed over my way. Um, just wanted to come to you today, and today we're going to talk about healthcare as I smoke a cigar. Appropriate, right? So before we get started, just a heads up, right to my left, your right, I've got a big oak tree at the end of the balcony, and there's a squirrel up there raising all kinds of hell. I went over, he was looking right at me. I don't know if it's a sex call, a mating call, I don't know if he's yelling down at another squirrel, or if he's just pissed because I came out here. So, seems like he's quieted down now, but I don't know if he's going to try to jump over here and we'll have like the Mississippi squirrel revival going on. So if I get up and run to the inside the house, that's the reason why. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he's gone. I think he might be gone. He was raising all holy hell for a couple of minutes when I first lit this up. Also, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Mel Robbins, who has done a lot of work here at the house to put some stuff together. He gave me this right here, this El Rey del Mundo. This is a Gordo style. It's the biggest cigar they make. 7-inch, like it might be a 60 gauge. At least a 54 gauge. I think it's a 60, I think it's a 7-inch 60 gauge. Mel will smoke this all day. He'll relight it several times. This is an all-day smoke for him. I'm not going to smoke it all today. It's too big to do that right now. Anyway, I've had a few of these. Great cigar. If you can find a deal on them, I would definitely try one. El Rey del Mundo. Good cigar. Alright, the title of my little chat with y'all today is Without the Individual Mandate, Obamacare is doomed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. What is a bad idea to replace it? And I've already done like the Taylor Care thing. I already did a video a while back, like over the summer. I'm a free market guy. So Obamacare, they were trying to get rid of it. John McCain was the Republican that stopped it from getting repealed. He's dead now. And so hopefully after the election, which the election coming up here in about 3 weeks, go out and vote. We need a red wave. We need a red wave. We need to keep the House and the Senate, and we need more than like a 1 or 2 seat lead in the Senate, because we got 1 or 2 senators still who might be traitors. But if we can keep it and expand it, I think we can finally get something done with health care. But what I'm going to talk about now is the individual mandate and why without it, Obamacare is gone. It's dead on arrival. First, in case you didn't know, the tax cuts that Trump did earlier this year, a part of that, he terminated the individual mandate in Obamacare effective 2019. Now, before we get into the discussion, for those of you who may not be up to date or know what the individual mandate is, I'm going to explain what it is and why you have to have it in order for Obamacare to work. And when you find out what it is, if you don't already know what it is, you'll see how much of a scam Obamacare was to begin with. All right? So basically the individual mandate said, or basically mandated that everybody have health care. So if you don't have health care through your employer, you got to go buy it. So basically taking a freedom away from you, telling you you have to go buy something that maybe you don't want. And what made it even worse is these plans were very expensive. The deductibles are very high. So you're paying a lot of money for something you're probably never going to use. Most of them had anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 deductibles. So think about it. You're making a monthly payment on your insurance, and then you're going to have to spend 10 grand out of your pocket before it even kicks in. and if you opt out, you get a big fine. So you've got to buy it. So in essence, it was a tax, really. So, but in order for Obamacare to work, they had to have this mandate that didn't make sense from a freedom perspective. I mean, from a freedom perspective, I should be able to choose whether I want health care or not. Maybe I'm young and healthy and I want to roll the dice and not have health care. But under the Obama individual mandate, I had to do it. So first, let's explain how health insurance works from a financial perspective. Before we do that, I just want to point out that I have worked in healthcare and health insurance for about 23 years. For the last 13, 14 of those years, I've been a contract negotiator. I negotiate contracts with the largest hospital systems in the world. I am going back and forth with CEOs of the biggest health plans out there, okay? So I'm an expert on this. I know this is one of the few things I do know a lot about. Okay, so you can take what I'm saying to the bank. So basically, the reason why you had to have the mandate, here's how it works. In order for insurance companies to make any money off of insurance, there has to be a pool of participants. So for example, you work for XYZ company. Everybody gets the insurance. The vast majority of those people are fairly healthy, if not completely healthy. The majority of those people might go get their annual exam, maybe go to the urgent care once a year because they got a flu or the cold or whatever, but for the most part they're healthy. They might not be on any medications, maybe one medication, but most of the people are healthy. And so they're paying premiums to the insurance company, but the insurance company really isn't paying any claims out on them because they're healthy. Okay? Now I've got a guy here doing some work, so you may hear a saw go off here in a minute. I'll try to talk over it. So you need those healthy people who are paying into the system but not really using it to pay for the sick people. You got the sick people who have a lot of claims, thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of claims. You got to have the healthy people who don't have any claims but are paying into it to make up for the losses you're taking on the people who do have a lot of claims. So, make sense? So that's why you have to have the mandate, because without the mandate, healthy people aren't going to buy insurance because it costs too much, it has a high deductible, and they're probably never going to use it. So if they're not mandated and told they have to buy it, they're not going to buy it. And so if the healthy people don't buy it, then you're going to have a pool of sick people. The only people with it are sick people. They're buying the insurance because they need it because they're sick, or they're on 5 drugs, spending $1,000, $5,000, whatever, thousands of dollars a month on drugs. So now you fast forward to the tax cuts, and Trump gets rid of the mandate. Okay? So now, starting in 2019, you're not going to be forced to buy insurance if you don't want to buy it. So what do you think is going to happen? Very simple. Everybody who's been buying it only because they're being forced to buy it are going to drop it, and they're not going to buy it, and you're going to see only sick people buying the insurance. And the only way insurance companies can sell the insurance and make any money off of it is for the prices to skyrocket, like totally crazy. Like, you think it's expensive now, it's going to get crazy expensive. So basically, by getting rid of the mandate, that's the first step of basically saying Obamacare is doomed because insurance is going to cost too much for anybody to afford. Even the sick people aren't going to be able to afford it. And so, just based on supply and demand, nobody's going to buy it because they can't afford it, and it's going to go away. It's going to kill itself. And so then you get a Republican, a little bit better Republican majority in the House and the Senate, and we come together and we put together something better. Anything would be better. All right? So, now, one thing that's being floated out there is Medicare for all. Terrible idea for a bunch of reasons. I'll explain that real quickly. All right. $32 trillion to pay for 10 years. We basically would have to double the annual budget just to pay for Medicare for all. We're already $21 trillion in debt, and you say you want to double the budget just for this one program? How are you going to pay for it? You could take, I've done the math on this, you could take every penny every person in America makes and tax it so that everybody is paying 100% in taxes, which means your paycheck will be zero, which is ridiculous, right? Because that ain't going to happen. But let's say it was, we still wouldn't be able to collect enough money to pay for Medicare for all. So right there, it's dead on arrival. But let's say even if it was a lower number where we could at least try to do it, it's still not going to work. So from a reimbursement perspective, Medicare pays less than your normal commercial insurance or normal insurance that we all get through our employers. It pays less. So if I went to the doctor and my dad went to the doctor, he's on Medicare, I've got insurance through my employee or my employer, we got the exact same service done, the exact same claim was billed. My insurance company, the rates they have negotiated, they would pay the insurance, they would pay the doctor more than Medicare would. Medicare pays less, okay? So you got all these doctors. By the way, look at that beautiful ash. Ah, love it. So you got all these doctors who are used to getting a certain amount of reimbursement under their commercial insurance, and now you take the vast majority of Americans who have health insurance through their employer, and now they're instead of getting paid what Anthem or United Healthcare or Aetna or Humana or whoever would pay them, now they're getting paid Medicare rates. They're going to take a big decrease in pay. Doctors like driving their Mercedes Benzes, and they like being in their 12,000 square foot, $1.5 million houses. So they ain't going to buy that crap. They ain't going for it. All right? So what will happen is you're going to have a bunch of doctors stop being doctors. They're going to work for the insurance companies, you make some money, right? Or they're going to get another job, or they're just going to retire because they can. So then on top of that, well, that's going to create an issue, because now you're going to have like thousands and thousands of more people with insurance and less doctors. Even without that, you would still have access issues. Here's the second problem. I'm going to give you an example. Check this out. Take a drag here. We're getting ready to have a drill go off here. So here's the deal. Wait 1 minute. Here we go. So, a friend of mine just went through an episode of Care. He was having some pains up in the gut. Alright? Killing him. So he calls the doctor and he makes an appointment. He goes to the doctor's appointment. The doctor orders some testing. Ultrasound, MRI, something like that. He goes and gets the testing done. They find out he's got gallstones, and he has to have surgery to get them removed. They schedule the surgery. It's an outpatient surgery. I'm gonna get rid of this ash. He has the surgery. I think it was an afternoon surgery. I think he might have spent the night and left that next morning, but he was there less than 24 hours. Okay? Sounds good, right? From the time he called his doctor, had the doctor's appointment, had the testing, had the surgery, and went home, that was 3 weeks. 3 weeks and it was over. All that stuff happened in 3 weeks. Now, in Canada, they do have a single payer insurance for all system. I've done the research and I've checked it out. That exact same scenario in Canada, from the time he called his doctor until the time he had the surgery, 21 weeks. Yeah, 21 weeks. 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. So, how many months is that? That's like, what, 5, 6 months? That's like almost half a year, about 5 months for that whole thing to go down. he would have been in pain all that time. And what if it was like terminal cancer? What if he didn't have gallstones? What if he had pancreatic cancer? Under the Medicare for All scenario, which would be like the Canadian system, by the time he gets care, he's dead. So that ain't gonna work. So that goes back to, just look at my wall, go back to where it says Taylor Care. There's all kinds of market-driven things we can do where we incentivize competition, we do things to make it harder to sue for malpractice unless it's for real. We put in all kinds of things for transparency. We put in tools for so you know how much it's going to cost. If you have 3 to 5 different places that do a certain kind of procedure, and one it costs $5,000 and the other it costs $20,000. Right now you're just going to wherever the hell your doctor tells you to go for the most part. But if you had the tools, and you really kind of do, most insurance companies provide this now. If you knew somebody else could do it for just as good quality for $5,000, why would you go to the $20,000 guy, right? So enough people go to the $5,000 guy, the $20,000 guy is either going to bring his prices down or he's going to go out of business, right? So there's all kinds of market-driven things we can do to bring the cost down. Quality of healthcare in the United States is the best in the world. Rich people all over the world come here for healthcare. Our problem is not quality of care. Our problem is cost. So what we need to do is look at market-driven solutions to how we encourage the cost of care to go down. I talk about that thoroughly in my Taylor Care video, which you can go back and look at. In the meantime, Obamacare will be gone soon. Trump getting rid of the individual mandate was the first step. As you now know, because of my explanation, you can't have Obamacare long-term without the mandate, because the people who are basically paying for the sick people are no longer going to buy the insurance. So it's going to go bankrupt. So there you go. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any ideas or want to comment in any way at all, I encourage it. I would love to get into the discussion. I do have a couple of dummy friends who are big Obamacare guys, who are truth deniers, who will probably say some stupid stuff, but it is what it is and we know who they are. All right, that's what I got for you today. As always, y'all know that I love you. Y'all know you're always welcome to come hang out with me here at the Taylor Plantation. I got some cigars in the humidor. We can fire up the grill, fire up the smoker, and have some good food. I love it. And until next time, as always, God bless America.